My Lords, first oral question, Baroness Pigeon.
Beg leave to ask the question standing in my name on the order paper.
My Lords, the fragmented railway we inherited is a fare system that passengers neither understand nor trust. We are addressing this through delivering pay-as-you-go with simpler fares in London and the South East, Greater Manchester and West Midlands, trialling digital pay-as-you-go in the East Midlands and Yorkshire, and on long-distance routes we are learning from the trial with LNER to make long-distance fares easier to understand.
I'd like to thank the Minister for his answer, and whilst it's good to hear about some initiatives in parts of the country, passengers have faced year after year of rail fare increases for an unreliable service. So I'd therefore like to ask the Minister, by when will passengers be able to have simplified rail fares so they have confidence that they are not being ripped off every time they catch a train?
Yeah.
The Noble Baroness is right that people are very uncertain about buying tickets, and they don't trust that they're getting the best value. The fare system has grown like Topsy over the last 30 odd years. 50 million fares in the British railway system, and in order to eat the elephant we have to do it in pieces. We are starting. Nobody has previously started. The Noble Lord McLaughlin, who I'm not sure without my glasses I can see, he is there. He said to me once that he tried to do it in his period as the Secretary of State, and the system hadn't allowed him to make the progress which he'd hoped to do. We are making progress. It will take time. Meanwhile, the Public Ownership Act has enabled train operations to come back into public ownership, and the Noble Baroness will know, because she met the Managing Director of South Western Railway, that, for example, he inherited a fleet of 90 trains, 84 of which were in sidings, and today 21 of them are in service. I think that's progress.
My Lords, the Minister rightly pointed out my complete failure as Secretary of State for Transport. However, would he reassure us that in the brave new world that he's promising for the railways, where the Treasury will be totally on side with everything he wants to do, that he will manage to see a simplified rail fare system? And when people call simplified, what they usually want is a cheaper rail system. What does he think the chances are when he is controller of the Railways UK and the Treasury is the chairman?
Well, the Noble Lord was not an absolute failure in the job at all. He was brilliant, and of course he appointed a very competent chair of Network Rail in his time, for which I'm grateful, but my wife isn't. The Noble Lord Livermore is next to me, and I think he deals with Treasury matters, and for the moment at least I'm dealing with transport and the railways. The truth is that the railways are in a very bad financial position. They are taking twice the subsidy that they did pre-COVID, and they don't run very well, and he's right about that, and we have a huge amount of work to do. So the balance between fares and subsidy, the performance of the railway, are all matters which need to be addressed, and that's why the government is addressing them through the Public Ownership Act and through the Railways Bill. It will take time. This system's taken 200 years to create, but we're determined to make a real difference in the life of this Parliament.
My Lords, the present system of passenger compensation when the train is late seems to work pretty well, from my experience. Will that change with the new wonderful structure that he and Noble Lord McLaughlin outlined, and who will actually pay the compensation to passengers?
I thank my noble friend. It is right that there is compensation. The rates of it vary. The system of paying it is complex, and if you've bought your ticket from a third-party ticket retailer, then it sometimes isn't easy to get your money back through delay repay. So we know that we need to address all those things. In the end, it will be GBR who is operating those trains which are operated by the railway, by the public sector railway, and therefore that system will inevitably be simplified in terms of how people claim it.
My lords, discount cards like the senior rail card.
My lords, as a general South West Railway passenger, which used to take 3 hours for me to get to Devon, now takes just under 4 hours. I'm now going by GWR that takes 2 hours and 10 or 20 minutes to roughly the same area. And I absolutely can't understand why something can't be done to deal with South West Railway, already raised by the noble lady, Lady Pigeon.
So I think the noble Baroness is referring to the Salisbury to Exeter line, which has a long history. It was built cheaply to compete with the Great Western. The cuttings are steep, the tunnel mouths are surrounded by earth, and sadly this summer journey times have been extended due to soil moisture deficit, which is a modern feature. The management of SWR has every intention of getting back to the normal timetable, but must operate the railway safely in the meantime. I'd be very happy to introduce the noble Baroness to the new managing director, and he can explain that to her himself, because he is responsible for both the operations and the infrastructure.
Lords, discount rail cards like the senior rail card can be an expensive lump sum for many people. Is he looking at proposals for some kind of loyalty card to encourage people more widely to choose the railway for their journeys?
So the noble Baroness highlights one of the features, which is that the numbers of discount cards have grown over the years. Some of them have different conditions from others. It's quite hard to understand as if you didn't have one, which one might be applicable. And we do very much have it in mind that when GBR is up and running, that it addresses the consistency of all those things and what else can be done to encourage people to travel by train.
My Lords, fare simplification by definition means that there will be fewer fares options. Can the government give a guarantee that under their simplification programme, no individual fare will go up purely because of fare simplification?
Well, the noble lord's got some background in this because he was both the Deputy Chair of Transport for London and the Deputy Mayor for Transport, I think, for a bit. And he knows perfectly well that when we rationalised the fare structure on the tube, some fares did go up. Other fares went down. We made sure that the fares that went up were generally ones that a lot of people didn't pay, and that the benefits were found across the system. If you've got 50 million fares, we need to reduce that number, and it is inevitable, and they do need to be balanced. And he has some experience himself of balancing them within an overall fares rise, and he should use that knowledge to his own advantage, because I don't particularly want to tell him again.
My lords, no Baroness in introducing this question talked about terrible railways. Well, I know for many people the world stops outside London and the southeast of England. But can I say to him that as a regular traveller for the last 23 years on LENR, it's a very good system with dedicated staff. Timings are very good, and it's an example of what can be done with a nationalised railway system. But can I urge my honourable friend to see what can be done to make the offer of tickets more simple, because it is a complex even on that line, but it's not all doom and gloom on our railways.
It's a very welcome sentiment, and I appreciate it. We are really trying hard, and the management of LNER are trying hard to get some rationalisation into this, which is also convenient to people. So the proposition that you can buy a ticket which has plus or minus 70 minutes means that you don't actually have to travel on the train that you thought that you might, and there is some flexibility in it. And regardless of some of the comments about individual fares, actually it's proving very popular, and enormous numbers of tickets in the new system are being bought. If you look into the future, for example, 1.1 million new semi-flexible tickets priced at less than the super off-peak fare in the booking horizon between August and December are available, and people are discovering that actually a different methodology of this actually works.
My Lords, I've suffered a number of cancelled trains on my journeys. Cancellations have been explained as due to a driver shortage. Is there a driver problem or lack of numbers, or is there some other likely explanation?
The Noble Lord is right. There is a driver shortage. Most train operating companies don't have enough drivers to staff the service. Although one would like to measure the railways in terms of their outcomes for passengers, one of the input measures that I have determined is part of the business plans of all the train operating companies, whether they're public or privately owned, is the number of drivers. Since COVID, a number of companies didn't make enough progress in increasing the number of drivers. It's completely unacceptable, and actually we're in course of correcting it.
Second oral question, Lord